From September 2003 to July 2004, Yoo embarked on a gruesome spree, leaving a trail of horror in his wake. His weapon of choice? Not a gun or a blade, but something more mundane, a hammer. But don't be fooled by the simplicity. Behind that raincoat-clad facade was a mind twisted by resentment. A man who believed he was meting out justice to a society he despised. Welcome back to Crime Scene Archives. In today's video, we will delve into the chilling tale of Yoo Young-chul, a name that still sends shivers down the spines of those who remember his reign of terror. But before we begin, please don't forget to like and subscribe to keep updated of our videos. Let's begin. Warning: this video contains graphic content related to crime scenes. It is intended for educational purposes only. Viewer discretion is advised. Yoo Young-chul, born on April 18, 1970, hails from Gochang, Jeonbuk. His parents separated when he was young, and he moved to Mapo, Seoul, with his father. Growing up in poverty, Yoo faced bullying at school, which fueled his resentment toward wealthy individuals. Despite his troubled background, Yoo had artistic interests, including painting, playing the guitar, and singing. He applied to an arts-focused high school but was denied admission due to poor academic performance. Instead, he attended a different high school. Before gaining notoriety as a serial killer, Yoo had a criminal history. In 1988, he was arrested for theft, followed by another theft-related arrest in 1991, resulting in a 10-month prison sentence. In 1993, he faced theft charges again and received an 8-month prison term. Yoo's criminal record also included selling child pornography in 1995 and a 2-year prison sentence for theft, forgery, and identity theft in 1998. Initially, Yoo targeted affluent seniors, invading their residences and fatally assaulting them with a hammer. Following these attacks, he staged the scenes to resemble robbery murders, despite abstaining from taking any valuables. Subsequently, Yoo shifted his focus to prostitutes and escort girls. Employing deception, he would entice them to his residence, where he would render them unconscious with a hammer and then decapitate them in his bathroom. His typical method involved dismembering and mutilating the bodies before burial. Additionally, 2 street vendors fell victim to his crimes. Yoo claimed to have occasionally consumed his victims' livers, although this assertion remains unverified. He also impersonated a police officer, utilizing a counterfeit police ID, and at times incinerated the bodies of his victims. In some instances, he resorted to stabbing and choking his victims. Throughout these acts, he frequently donned a yellow raincoat and baseball cap. In 1991, Yoo married his girlfriend and became a father. However, his life took a darker turn. In 2000, he was arrested for raping a 15-year-old girl, leading to a 3-year and 6-month prison sentence. His wife divorced him on October 27, and he was eventually released on September 11, 2003. On September 24th, Yoo Young-chul committed a gruesome crime. He broke into the home of a wealthy couple, where he encountered the homeowner, university professor Lee Dok-soo. Yoo stabbed Lee in the neck with a knife and then brutally bludgeoned both Lee and his wife to death using a hammer. Strangely, despite the violent act, nothing was stolen from the scene. leading investigators to believe it was a robbery-motivated murder. Yoo's killing spree continued on October 9. He forcibly entered another house, where he attacked a grandmother, smashing her head with the same hammer. The homeowner's wife rushed downstairs and confronted the killer, who kicked her in the stomach. Yoo demanded to know if there were more people in the house. The woman revealed that her husband and son were upstairs. Yoo proceeded to bludgeon her skull and then encountered her disabled son. Forcing the son to kneel, Yoo hammered him to death. Remarkably, the husband was not present during these horrifying murders. On October 16, Yoo Young-chul committed another horrifying act. He targeted Yoo Jun-hee, the wife of a millionaire. After breaking into her home, Yoo threatened her with a knife. When he inquired about other occupants, she assured him that no one else was present. Despite her plea, Yoo dragged her into the bathroom and brutally bludgeoned her. Although her son discovered her injured, she tragically succumbed to her injuries. Continuing his spree, Yoo forcibly entered another residence on November 18. The housekeeper, Bae Ji-ye, confronted him, asking who he was. Yoo responded by displaying his knife and demanding directions to the master bedroom. Upon reaching the bedroom, he found the homeowner, Kim Jong-sok, lying in bed. Without hesitation, Yoo hammered Kim to death. Bae, who held an infant in her arms, attempted to shield the baby. Yoo forcibly took the child from her, placed it on the sofa, and covered it with a blanket. He then fatally attacked Bae. In a desperate attempt to eliminate any potential DNA evidence, Yoo accidentally cut himself while trying to open a safe. To cover his tracks, he set the house on fire. Fortunately, the baby was rescued from this horrific scene. On December 11, 2003, Yoo initiated a relationship with an escort girl. Eventually, she discovered his criminal history and insisted on ending their association. This rejection fueled his anger, prompting him to resume his pattern of killings. On February 9, 2004, he murdered Chung Young-dae, a street vendor, and incinerated his van. Subsequently, on March 16, he strangled Kwon Jin-hee to death, dismembered her body, and discarded the remains along a path near Sogang University. On April 14th, he killed another street vendor, An Jae-son, as retribution for allegedly selling him counterfeit Viagra. In May, Yoo enticed an escort girl to his residence, where he viciously attacked her with a hammer, rendering her unconscious, and then decapitated her in his bathroom. He proceeded to mutilate her body and bury the remains, adopting this modus operandi for 8 additional victims, all of whom were prostitutes or escort girls. 2 days following his final murder, Yoo found himself under arrest. His actions had drawn suspicion after he made a series of calls to a massage parlor, coinciding with the disappearance of several employees who had received similar calls. Upon apprehension, he confessed to the string of killings. Despite briefly escaping custody by feigning a seizure, he was recaptured within 12 hours. Yoo's initial court appearance took place on September 6, 2004. During this hearing, he expressed remorse to the families of his victims, but asserted his lack of intention to cease his murderous activities. Just 2 weeks later, he attempted to assault 3 judges. Although slated for another court appearance on October 4th, he had attempted suicide the night before. 3 weeks following this incident, he assaulted a courtroom spectator who had directed insults at him, subsequently agreeing to refrain from further disruptions in court proceedings. Yoo Young-chul was found guilty of 20 murders in December 13, 2004, and received a death sentence. However, due to South Korea's suspension of executions, he is presently incarcerated at the Seoul Detention Center. Yoo Young-chul's extensive, brutal, and diverse series of murders deeply unsettled the South Korean populace. His criminal activities were dramatized in the 2008 movie The Chaser and explored in detail in the 2021 Netflix documentary titled The Raincoat Killer: Chasing a Predator in Korea. According to one of the police officers who participated in the investigation of Yoo Young-chul's murders, this type of case was unprecedented in Korea at the time. The documentary sheds light on how Yoo managed to continue his killing spree for an extended period due to deficiencies within the Korean police force. Following Yoo Young-chul's arrest, the Korean police force underwent significant reforms to address inefficiencies and corruption. However, beyond the question of how he managed to evade capture for so long, many have pondered why he turned to murder in the first place. Some attribute his actions to the Korean financial crisis, which began in 1998. As one police officer succinctly put it, the rich got richer and the poor got poorer. Yoo himself explicitly connected the dots between inequality in South Korea and his gruesome crimes. "I did it to kill society," Yoo Young-chul asserted. "When I came to the bitter realization that money was all that mattered, I thought of myself as enforcing the very punishment myself." Certainly, the theme of inequality in South Korea has resonated in recent years, finding expression in popular movies and TV shows. Works like Parasite, 2019, and Squid Game, 2021, vividly portray the struggles faced by the less fortunate. However, despite Yoo's lofty justifications, his actions reveal a different truth. He deliberately preyed upon the vulnerable, older adults, often during daylight hours when they were home, and women existing on the fringes of society. His motivations were not to reshape the world, but rather to unleash his rage upon it. Indeed, Yoo Young-chul's actions led to a tragic loss of lives, leaving families shattered and communities scarred. His path of violence and brutality ultimately sealed his own fate, confining him to a life behind prison walls. The cycle of pain and suffering he perpetuated serves as a stark reminder of the darkness that can emerge from a fractured society. As we end this video on the case of Yoo Young-chul, let the shadows recede, but not the memory. In the aftermath, the Korean police force grappled with its own flaws and society grappled with the question, why? Was it the financial crisis, the widening gap between rich and poor, or something more primal that drove him? As the credits roll, we're left with fragments of horror, a reminder that monsters can wear raincoats and walk among us. Until the next chapter unfolds, keep your eyes peeled for the hidden narratives that linger in the corners of our world. In our previous video, we delved into the gripping case of Jeanette Tamayo, a young girl who defied all odds after being abducted. Her unwavering determination led her to unravel the mystery surrounding her own disappearance. If you missed it, catch up now to discover the twists and turns that shaped her remarkable story. Until our paths cross again, stay curious, stay vigilant.